Yeah, I'm excited. I thought you guys wanted to say something before we get started.
A vibe from the 915.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of The Vibe from 915.
Sir.
We've been talking about this for a while. Special episode with a special guest introducing My.ers.Art,
Hey!
aka
Yo.
Lindsey My.ers for you guys. It's about time that we got a interview going for you. We started off with a couple of get to know us, some segments we've done so far. But this is one of our main things. We want to start off with some interviews. Thankfully, we know the person a little bit. Maybe we may or may not know the person. For our first interview, it's going to help us break the ice a bit. Get to do a little feedback from you guys since we can work a little closer here. And yeah, I'm excited. I thought you guys wanted to say something before we get started.
You pretty much said it all.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Just happy to have someone finally. to
Yeah, I
talk to.
know.
And a local business too, that's the cool thing.
Yeah, so like we said, we want to try targeting some El Paso impacts, El Paso names that we believe are making an impact, and I believe this is going to be a really good one to get the project started with our interviews.
Yeah.
So My.ers.Art. Yes. Your business.
I'm the guinea pig interviewer.
Yes, exactly. Your business.
So how do we want to start it off? Just tell us what you do.
Yeah. So
Tell
your
us about
business.
it.
Who are you
Sell it to us.
to the viewers here?
My name is Lindsey My.ers. I'm Auntie's girlfriend.
Oh!
Damn.
You've already heard my name in previous episodes, so this is me. But okay, so my name is Lindsey. I have a small business here in El Paso called My.ers.Art. It's basically me just creating art out of resin. So I'm a local resin artist. I go to different markets around El Paso. I make things. I post them on Instagram. Just a local artist and try to make money out of it on the side. It's not like the main goal, but
I kind of like how you said you make things, because I feel like some people don't know what you make, and I feel like we should kind of dive in, because some people it may be things, but obviously some of the things you do make is like pretty relevant and could be really good gifts for every event. So yeah, My.ers.Art. Why My.ers.Art?
well, I mean, coming up with a name is always hard, so I threw my last name in there. And then I started off with painting, so it wasn't originally resin art. I started off with paint, and so kind of used art as like a general term, so that whatever I did make, it would fall under that category. But yeah, it was just an easy name to go
So you started with art, with painting, so just like canvas painting, just for fun, or you were actually already selling stuff?
Were you selling it, or was it just for you?
At the beginning, it was more just to make it for myself. It was more of a hobby. I mean, it still is a hobby, but the painting started off just because kind of like a stress reliever. I was in the middle of my college career, and I was a mechanical engineering major, so I was stressed a lot of the time.
Wait, pause, roll that back.
Mechanical engineering major, so
You're a mechanical engineering major?
I did. I graduated with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. Yes, I did.
Man,
That is not easy.
That is
Thank
not
you.
easy. I'm sure that within itself is something we could talk about for a good amount of time.
and you
right?
still had time to paint? That's crazy.
I mean, I threw it in there when I was not studying or crying about exams, but yeah, that's how it started. It was more of just a stress reliever, something that I enjoyed doing to pass the time, or just kind of like get lost in whatever it is you're doing and forget about the rest of the world for a little bit.
Your go away place?
Yeah, exactly.
cool.
That's always cool when you find a hobby like that where no matter what's going on, it could be completely diverse, like mechanical engineering and art. I think that could be a different range. And having the ability to take a break, I think it's pretty cool. Once you find that thing, I know it takes a while, right? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, have you always done art, or is it something you just kind of stumbled upon, or?
I have always been creative. I used to love drawing and painting when I was younger, but I feel like I never really took it seriously. And then once I started painting in college, I felt like I dove a little bit deeper into different types of painting. So I started pour painting. I started looking up YouTube videos, getting all the equipment for it. I was there in my little apartment in Las Cruces, like doing all these different paintings and just experimenting, because that's honestly what it's about. That's what making art is, just experimenting and not caring what the outcome is going to be. It's just putting yourself into something and getting lost in it. So
I've seen some of your paintings. I don't know what kind of style it is, but it looks like waves.
yeah, so that's probably one of the pour paintings.
Crazy.
Which is what you started with initially,
Yeah,
right?
that is what I
Crazy. Yeah, that
started
thing looks like you don't want to stop staring at it. It's like
It's
super
kind of
good.
like trippy a little bit. It's like-
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's super cool. You experiment with all these different styles, and people post YouTube videos, so you're like, yeah, I'll give that a shot, and you put your own spin on it. So it's fun.
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun.
I will say, and I think you could elaborate more and tell us more about your inspiration as to how it started, but when we were living in Las Cruces, it was your birthday, and I bought these little paint pour for us to just do for fun on your birthday.
Oh, the little kit.
And
Yeah.
it was a little tiny kit, and you had said you've been wanting to try it, which is kind of the reason I got it as a gift.
It was for the
I-
both of you?
Yeah, it was just for the both of us. It was like a Walmart, like 2 little canvas squares, and it came with like
It was,
dollar
yeah.
paints, and that was it. And you had to paint pour it, had instructions how to do it.
That's cool.
And it's like, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, like this is fun. It was for her birthday, so it was just a little activity.
Yeah.
I had no idea that there was like books and YouTube videos and tutorials on how to actually do that stuff. And maybe you could tell us more about it, but one day I came home to the apartment and there was all these cups stacked up. I saw dollar paints. I saw canvases stacked by like textbooks on the side. So you want to tell us more about like how you got started, or?
Definitely. I mean, obviously, something comes from nothing. You know, it's a lot of my stuff. It came from dollar store paints or Walmart paints, and you don't need the fanciest, most expensive equipment to start doing something fun. It doesn't matter what you have. You just, exactly. You just do with what you have, and you have fun with it. That's the most important part. And you learn, and you make mistakes, and that's just part of it. It's just part of growing and
That's big.
getting through.
I think that's a good thing about art though. Is like a mistake could turn into something like crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I follow so many artists who are like, this was an accident, and it's been one of my best like pieces of art yet. So definitely.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
that's cool.
I have a question. So recent events, COVID and all that's been going on.
Right.
I was wondering if like you feel that COVID affected your business in a negative or a positive way.
Well, I think at the beginning it was positive just because it gave me more time to dive into it. So when I started off on painting was when I was in college living in Las Cruces. And then once COVID hit, we all got sent home. And so we came home from college, and so I was home all the time. We were in lockdown, and so I just started painting more. And then I started coating my paintings in resin, and that's how I started getting into resin art. Started following different artists
So it
and
kind of branched
different...
you out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I
That's
said, oh, hey, they make a whole different kind of art with this medium. So I started diving into that, and I was at home all the time, so I had a lot of time on my hands to experiment with it. So kept experimenting, one thing leads to the next, and then you're just creating everything under the sun.
So you're one of the few people that when COVID hit actually took advantage. And
That's what I was gonna say to kind of piggyback off Phil. So did you take advantage of like exposure for yourself during COVID? Or like, how
Yeah,
did
I think just being home during that time was the biggest impact because I had the time to experiment. I was still going to school full time, but online, so that was still a little bit of a challenge, but definitely gave me more time to explore and just dive deeper into that type of art.
So while you were diving into it and you were realizing like, man, I could do this, one every other day, even just the paint pours themselves, and even when you segued into resin, were you already in your eyes a business at that point? Were you selling anything, or it was just, let's see how much stuff I can accumulate? Like you were basically artwork, and then was it at that point that you realized, I've got a lot of stuff,
I
should
can
I try
sell
selling?
it?
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it went?
I
or-
think it was a little bit of half and half. When I started painting, I had a lot of paintings, and I came across that like maybe people would be interested in buying a few, and some people actually did. And so then once I started the resin art, I started off with Texas keychains. That was the one and only mold I had, so that's all I made. And I was posting them, and people were buying them, So it's like It was
So-
kind of a little bit of hand in hand.
So posting them on your social media.
On Instagram, yeah, that's how I started. Just
Wow.
posting everything on Instagram, and just seeing where it went. Just you can't be afraid to put your art out there. It doesn't matter what you think, what other people think about it, as long as you're just sharing whatever it is you think is, important or that is special to you.
To you. Yeah.
So were you posting that on like your personal account, or did you make like a whole other account?
And shout out the
No.
name if
Oh yeah, I made a whole nother Instagram. My Instagram is my.ers.art on Instagram. If you want to give it a follow. Yeah, I've had that Instagram for probably like a year and a half now.
I'd say a year and a half. And speaking of, I could be wrong, but I thought I just saw it just hit 1,500 followers. So
Did it? I was a little bit
1,500
short.
1,500 followers, probably
Yeah,
just right
very
under,
close.
but that's pretty good. I mean, again, you're talking about that. This is a year and a half of growth. That's 1,500 active followers. Some
Yeah.
people could have 10,000 followers and only have 100 likes on
Yeah,
a post
definitely.
or 10 comments
Yeah.
on that post. So when you have 1,500 active followers that are like interacting with your work, your page, all your social media. Do you have just Instagram? Do you have more than just Instagram right now?
Right now, I just have Instagram. It actually reminds me when I first started. I remember when I hit like 100 followers, and I was amazed at even that. I was like, how are 100 people interested in seeing what I make? Like, that used to blow my mind. So being at 1,500 is definitely like a shock, but super thankful. It's all about the community and just like people who care about seeing what you have to put out in the world. So it's cool.
I think it's how we feel right now. We're on that starting stage when it comes to like
Yeah,
gaining
exactly.
followers, and we're at 150 followers on our Instagram. So we're back where you were a year and a half ago, barely getting started.
But even then, the numbers aren't always the thing that are most
Yeah.
important. It's about what your content is. It's about what made you start this in the first place. So
Yeah, exactly.
you have to always keep that in mind, because as you get bigger and bigger, you just remember where you started and where you came from and why you're
Yeah.
doing it. So that's really important.
That's pretty cool. Do you guys? Okay, so I was gonna ask really quick. So we're on the topic of social media, and gotta do some research, right? Even though we know the person, still gotta be able to get some information. Gotta do our homework, boys. And so I was looking at your social media. So you have, by the way, it's My.ers.art. So for those of you who haven't caught on yet, the My.ers.Art stands for My Art, which I think is super dope, super catchy, super simple. And I think it's one of the biggest things when you're running a business, from my perspective, is
Is that catchy?
when you use your name, it's sketchy sometimes,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, it's my name, it's tied to it. People are gonna be like, why would they want to hear Santos, right? Probably not. But when you do something cool like that and you make it personal a little bit, I think
That's actually pretty crazy. My.ers.Art, but it's like my art.
that was kind of the point of it.
That's actually really good.
So diving in further into that, while I was looking at her social media, she has a TikTok, which I believe is your personal, but you kind of use it as your art.
Yeah, it was my personal, but I use the same username as my Instagram. So I post a lot of art content on there as well.
We'll pop that up when that comes up right there. And so doing research, you have the Instagram and you have the TikTok. I was looking at it. On average, between the two, each video, you easily hit about 500 views per video, minimum. And you easily can also hit around an average of 5,000 views
That's crazy.
per post.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
The
like,
reels do a good job of sending your video to people who may not be following you and give you extra like engagement.
so TikTok or Instagram Reels?
I don't know, it's tough. I started off doing short videos like that on TikTok, and I feel like they were actually doing really well. It was when I was making these big, elaborate trays, and so maybe that's why they were doing better. But now, recently, it's been flipped. Now I've been getting more on Reels and not so much on TikTok. So
See, what's crazy with Instagram, I feel like Instagram is gonna only like show like your followers, I guess, as of to like TikTok is sent it to like a variety of different people from all over the place. You
Right,
know, majority of your followers on your Instagram is gonna be like El Paso people, and a lot of people that I'm sure that viewed your TikTok were like from out of town.
right, yeah.
So that's gonna be my next quick point, and then I'll let you guys ask another question about this. Is so Angel's bringing up like out of town, from outside of El Paso, and El Paso's Instagram's a little more direct.
Right.
On one of your videos on TikTok, you hit 987,000 views,
Whoa!
45,000 likes, and almost 800 shares
Almost 1 million views.
on one post.
Almost, yeah.
Wow.
That was
So you
pretty
went
crazy.
viral.
Which one was this one?
Yeah,
by the way?
I wanna
Do
see
you want
that.
to tell us about it?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah, it was basically when I was at the height of making these big trays. So I actually wasn't even gonna start making that. You know, that wasn't even a product I was offering. And one of my cousins saw another resin artist make this tray, and she said, "Hey, can you make this for me?" And I said, "No, I don't have that kind of mold. I don't have, you know, the materials." And she said, "Well, I'll buy it for you." And so she bought it for me. I gave it a shot, and it actually came out really good. So once I posted that one, a bunch of people started asking me to make them. And so I had like a long list of people waiting to order them, and so I used to take product videos of me actually making them, and so that was one of the videos that went viral for that
So what do you mean
product.
by tray? Like it's just a tray that you could put like jewelry on?
I'm
or-
sure we could pop a picture up for them, but
Yeah, so it's
definitely
basically a
see
big
this one.
serving tray with 2 little handles on it. It's
Oh.
basically you can put like candles on it for display or decoration.
Oh.
All resin?
Yeah, so it's made out of resin, and then the handles
Metal
are
handles,
metal.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of resin, no?
It is a lot of resin actually, and I found that out really quick. I had to order more resin and more materials.
But I mean, you're using more resin, but you're probably making a bigger profit business side of it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because I was used to only selling smaller things, keychains, earrings, things like that. So once I was making these bigger trays, I wasn't used to that kind of product and using that much materials. So yeah, it was definitely a game changer.
so
That's crazy.
like speaking of like prices and like of materials and stuff,
Hmm.
is there one thing that like you wish you would have known going into the business before you did go into it? I guess maybe.
I mean, there are small technical little
I don't know,
things.
things are expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't realize how much of an investment starting your own like little business is, because you know you're not really thinking about the return, or at least I wasn't. I was buying things purely out of I want to make this and this looks fun to me and I'm just gonna go for it. So I was buying whatever
If you
I
can
wanted
make
to.
money, you can make money.
Yeah, I was buying whatever I wanted to just to like for the fun of making the products, and then if I can sell them, well, that's obviously a benefit. But yeah, I didn't realize how much money you actually end up spending on all the materials and the time it takes. So
That's always the reality check, is the
Yeah.
the money side, the startup cost. For
Yes,
Startup
definitely,
cost. Yeah.
for sure.
Rick?
Take a quick break.
Cool.
3, 2. Really quick, so before we dive a little deeper into My.ers.Art and what consists of that and everything, I kind of wanted to know you as an individual. Social media is, from what we've talked about so far, is where your business is started or founded on.
Mhm.
Social media. Is your background in media, was that something new to you when you started your business, or had you already had a little bit of background in, you know, having your face out to the public to market anything?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I wasn't, you know, self-conscious about it or anything. I had a job as a student ambassador for my entire college career. I worked for a textbook company, so I did marketing for them on social media as well. That included being in a few photo shoots for different things for their marketing. So I ended up in an ad in the New York Times on their website.
On the
What?
New York Times?
Wait, you can't just say it. You
Yeah,
can't just say it that
yeah,
fast, you know?
yeah.
You can't just say I was on the New York Times
The
and
New York
continue the
Times.
next question.
It was a quick, really random. They selected my photo. They said, "Hey, guess what? You're on the New York Times." And I was like, "What?" And
Did you get paid for that? How did that
they
work?
did, yeah.
Oh, really?
I got paid for me doing the photo shoot with them, not for like being on the.
And it obviously
Cover.
wasn't here, right?
No, I got flown out to Boston to do that. So that was
So what you're saying is that this isn't your first rodeo.
Oh.
not exactly. Now I just take pictures of the things that I make, not myself. But
I guess, yeah, I mean,
But
that's,
I think that's crazy though.
it is crazy. You're in the New York Times and you're in a student platform, right? A textbook company?
yeah,
Everyone in college is seeing that ad, whether you're buying books from there or not.
right.
That's crazy.
Your face was everywhere.
It was for a little
It
while.
literally was everywhere.
Yeah, people I went to high school with would be like, "Hey, is this you?" And I was like, "Yeah, that is."
Like,
It was funny.
I've always wondered too, like who are the people that they pick for these textbooks?
yeah, I mean, I guess that's how you just randomly end up on it. I mean,
Right?
Yeah.
it was by chance for the most part, right? Like
That's cool.
they told you what they were planning on doing, but it wasn't for sure you were going to be on there, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't for sure. We did a photo shoot for their marketing, so it could have been, you know, for a textbook or for their website. But to be on the New York Times was definitely a surprise.
So what's weird for me is that you're a mechanical engineer major and you're repping a textbook company, which that makes sense.
Mhm.
But then you got into like the marketing side of it, which is
Right,
crazy
yeah.
because I would say you're in the New York Times, successful. You also went into. I hit the shit out of my leg. Sorry.
No, I'm thirsty.
Oh, he always does that.
No, that's okay. So I was just talking about you're a mechanical engineer working for a textbook company. Makes total sense. But then you're on the marketing side.
Mhm.
And if you're doing really well, you're becoming successful, you're doing New York Times photo shoots, or you're helping them post on their social media, to me that's crazy because mechanical engineering and marketing are their own majors within themselves.
Right.
So like, how was that for you?
2-in-1.
Yeah, like that was.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't, that's not why I went into the job for marketing. It was just one of the things that was part of the job that I
Yeah.
obviously was okay at doing. So it was just one of those things where it was for the experience and for the exposure, and it was just really cool and really fun, and it was a great opportunity. So I'm glad I got to have that job throughout college because it was a really cool job.
Do you
Like
think that
2 for
marketing-
2?
Yeah,
That Wendy's 4 for 4?
Wendy's 4 for 4?
exactly.
4 for 4? The high school special? No, I was gonna ask you did that marketing for that job help you now with your business? Anything like that or?
Yeah,
I
what'd you
think
get
so
from it?
in a way.
Mhm.
I think just the consistency of posting and engaging with your followers, things like that. Those small marketing tips that might have helped me for sure for the things that I post now.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Speaking of now, let's get into the impact in El Paso.
The nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty. That's gonna be I love when he says that because we just know it's about to get nice and good.
It's gotta get toasty.
It's about to get toasty in here. There it is. My.ers.Art. You, or maybe you haven't said it yet, but you primarily sell through social media through your Instagram.
Right.
Not your only source of revenue, so I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
What is your other source of revenue for your art business?
For my art business, through Instagram.
Through Instagram? Yeah, so that's the only way you sell items? You don't do anything else like markets or
Oh.
anything like that? Any other sources of revenue?
That was a little too subtle.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to build you up.
Yeah.
My fault.
Sorry, missed that cue there. You didn't give me any notes before this, guys.
Yeah, it's totally wrong. But
First take.
Yes, I obviously do like to do markets, local events. I try to sign up for them whenever I can. There's actually a huge community for local
What's a market?
a market, like a marketplace.
See, I don't know anything about that.
Like where people set up their tents and tables and they.
Like the flea market?
Yeah, that's one of them. It could be any type of market. It could be an art market,
Some
farmers
people
market.
call it farmers market.
Or
A lot of
farmers
people call it
market, yeah.
farmers market.
So what does
Yeah.
that look like? What's that word I'm thinking of?
Mm,
What am I thinking of? What are those? The
Right.
swap meet? It's like that?
kinda.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. People take all their, items and they set up their table and their tent and they basically just sit there and they, it's kind of like a little community. It's really cool. People go out and, shop with their family. It's like quality family time. You get to put your money back into the city, back into the community, and you honestly find how talented a lot of local people are and what they have to sell and what they make, and it just gives you a greater appreciation for your city and the people that live in it.
So if I was someone who was like, dang, this looks cool, I want to go to a market, I want to see all these other businesses, specifically My.ers.Art, where am I going to find this stuff?
Honestly, there are a few big ones that I have done. Some of those include the Upper Valley Market, there's the First Avenue Market, there's several different ones. There's the Country Club Farmers Market. There's a lot of different bigger ones that you could probably search on Google. And then there's some smaller ones that I find sometimes just by other people posting on my art page. So there'll be different random pop-up events. I went to one recently where it was a salon celebrating their 1-year anniversary, and they just said, hey, if anyone wants to be a vendor for our 1-year anniversary, pull up. And so I did, and it was really successful.
So you could do a market pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Whoever wants to have an event and has the space, you can definitely do it. So it's a really cool community. It's really good to get your name out there and then also find other people who are selling their things and you support each other. And I've done so many where I've literally spent half the money that I've made just on other people's tables because I'm just
cool.
like,
I have seen that.
you're there and you're already there and you want to support and you fall in love with other people and the things that they make and you just want to keep pouring that money back into whatever you make and whatever other people make. So it's just a lot of community and a lot of support. So it's really awesome.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I think our cameraman wanted to mention something.
Oh yeah, what's it like being a woman business owner / engineer?
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big one.
Talk about the nitty gritty, huh?
We're diving in.
Well, it's kind of like two questions in one, because the one of them's like being a woman business owner,
Right.
and the
First
other
one.
one, the first question, and then the second one is being like a woman engineer, which I know is like pretty low percentage on, it's mainly a male predominant.
Right, not as common.
Yeah, definitely.
Field.
So I would say for the business aspect, I feel like there are a lot of female business owners, at least that I've come or encountered. There's a lot of females who it's really just them doing their entire business. Like it's literally one person, whether it's jewelry or art or whatever else, something like what I'm doing. It's just them, and they're putting all of their art out there for the world to see, and that's like what it's all about. And then you start seeing other people doing the same thing, and you just all want to support each other. So there's been so many occasions where it's like they repost stories where it's like girls support girls, or women, small businesses, and so it's a really great thing. I think it's super important for them to feel like they're not alone, and there are a lot of people in your community that are going to support you. So if
Other
you,
female.
yeah, definitely.
And it's very accessible. When people think markets, at least, okay, so this is like my point of view from it, and I didn't really know like the vibe of the field yet. I didn't really know much about markets, other than probably like the swap meet is like what I would assume like a market was, right?
That's what I was
So like
RIP
coming
Bronco.
from like RIP the Broncos.
Yeah, it's good times.
RIP, good times,
So
good
sad.
memories, some papas locas. So what I'm trying to get at is like from a person who goes and visits and buys from those things, you think, all right, these are businesses, so you probably gotta have like crazy setup, sign up, like probably permits to be there, all these different like factors that will come into starting, and they're
Right.
business owners, like they probably got a store somewhere and they're just like a extension in the market. But
Right.
in all reality, what I've noticed, especially when COVID hit, when you brought up that point, markets started kind of emerging, at least in my eyes, a little more frequent, a little more. Started seeing them on Instagram
I
more.
feel like
So
just a lot of people had to find a hobby, man.
Yeah,
exactly,
definitely.
but
They wanted to get it out there too.
and
Yeah.
similar for Lindsey, you're starting on a hobby that's like, okay, I have some inventory.
Mhm.
People actually like my stuff from the couple people that I've let have.
Right.
Why don't we try putting a price to it? Gonna go to a place where it's local. It's helps supporting people in El Paso, and the accessibility. Like she's talking about females. It's a range, right? But she's saying coming to like engineering or where it's this male-dominated field, I'm sure is difficult and challenging. And same with the markets, but the accessibility that you have to get started seems a lot easier
Yeah.
than I'm thinking or that I was thinking before then.
Right. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, I mean, it seemed like, did you just jump into it? Did you sign up for one? Like, how was it for you starting? Like, for people who may want to start their own little, or join you in a market or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Do you need a permit? Because I mean, don't you need a permit to sell lemonade? Or
Like a lemonade set?
I just made that up in my head. I'm
I
pretty
think,
sure.
Yeah, it might have
I
been.
think maybe
think so,
the
yeah.
businesses who put on the markets or wherever the place where you're having the market, they might need one. But to
Yeah.
actually be a vendor, you basically can just ask the people who are putting it on or apply to be a vendor. Some of the bigger markets will have, a link where you can apply to be a vendor. You have to explain what you're selling. Sometimes they don't. They have rules about whatever you are selling, and so sometimes you have to apply and stuff. But yeah, I mean, as long as you have a product and you have a name, you basically can just
That's cool.
set up and,
So the cool
Join
thing
in.
about that is then it could be any age group.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, the market, I mean, business owners and the people who attend the markets,
You can in
range.
fact sell lemonade, bro.
Yeah, it's cancel lemonade. Which, by the way,
they sell aguas frescas, they sell everything.
Right.
And they're super good.
There's
From-
food there
so
too.
yeah.
all
this is the
time.
crazy thing about these markets for me, which is why I think it's perfect for our segment here of the vibe from El Paso, is because I've gone with her and I helped her out, or just gone as like a person stopping by, and she's like, "Oh, there's this cool lemonade around the corner, like on my row of like vendors around the corner. Just go try it." And I'm like, "Oh, it's lemonade, like, you go and try it, and
It's the homemade lemonade, like
yes,
they made
it's
it.
so good. I'm saying, for example, like food, lemonade, and then you have products too, which Lindsey will come home with. She said she spent her money from what she probably made that day on other products, and she comes home with all this cool stuff, and it's like, I didn't even realize half this stuff you could make,
Yeah.
let alone that we had in El Paso that easy. All I had to do is show up on a Sunday or I'm not sure when the days are, usually Sunday, right? Or your markets.
Yeah, you start realizing how talented people are and how much there is out there that we don't even know about that is literally accessible so close to us. So it's really cool.
That is cool. And for like a side thing, Phil's dad actually helps run some of the markets, right? Or at
He
least one of the big ones.
created it.
Oh, he created it.
What?
The Upper Valley
dang.
Market, yeah.
The Upper
Yeah.
Valley,
No
that's a
way.
huge one. That's probably one of the biggest ones in El Paso.
Yeah.
We gotta get him on the podcast.
Which
What are
one?
the chances of that?
Huh? I did. I said it.
Yeah, which one? I say it
Upper Valley
again.
Market.
The Upper Valley Market, yeah.
Upper Valley Market?
I have
Upper
my
Valley
mic.
Market.
I have my mic, bro. Don't worry.
I was just saying restate it for the people.
Upper
It was
Valley
just-
Market.
Yeah, I've done that one a few times, and it's honestly, it's a great crowd. There's always music, and you know.
That's
it's-
cool.
Yeah.
I've never been to a market, now I'm thinking about it.
Gotta go.
I don't think I've ever been to a market.
Yeah.
And so they can range. I've gone with Lindsay where it's a couple vendors, you know, maybe 8 to 10. And she's had great days where, you know, I know it's not all about the money, but she comes back and she's like, well, I sold like 20 things. And I'm like, there was 10 vendors there and, you know, probably 20 people. You sold 20 things. Like, that must be average, right? And I've seen her go to, like, the Upper Valley Market, I think is one of the biggest ones I've seen you at.
There's a lot of big ones though.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of
Everywhere.
them. Yeah, and I think it's so
It's
cool.
really cool.
I think it's
Yeah.
crazy to me how there's a community of this stuff and
Mhm.
you don't know about it until you go. And just going to one doesn't even suffice like getting like the full experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you get to show off. I've seen even like local music, people
Mhm.
playing
Yeah.
like live
Yeah.
bands
Like
there.
bands.
That's when you have good music and places you can shop for a good price.
Yeah.
You got a good
There you
mix.
go, you got a hangout right
Yeah,
there.
and everyone's all
So,
about Sunday hangout.
Go support your local vendors, El
Yeah.
Paso.
Of course, bro. Yeah,
Your
you'll find
markets,
sensible
your
things.
local,
Yeah.
So-
you know. Oh,
To go back to something more specific about your business.
Mhm.
Like, was there ever a time where you wanted to like stop, and why? Like, you ever had a time you just wanted to give up, maybe for a certain
One of those
reason, or,
things
like,
where it just
you're like,
wasn't feeling no more?
maybe it's not working
Too
out.
busy maybe?
I don't know. Like maybe too busy. Get you know.
Yeah, I feel like
Yes.
I did reach a point where I was almost a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe when I had all the tray orders, I was kind of like, oh shoot, am I too in over my head? Am I, you know, like, am I focusing too much on this and not on school or my job or my family or my, you know,
The balance, right?
life
How is that?
outside? Yeah, it's definitely a balance. I mean, I see other business owners who are like going to school, have a full-time job. Some of them are moms, like some of them have their own families, you know, so I feel like everyone has their own story and their own way of balancing it out, and whatever way you do it has to work for you. But I mean, I have a full-time job, and so that has definitely had an impact on me. When I was going to school, it was full-time, and I would have like 3 jobs while I was going to school, so definitely.
Plus your business.
Running a
Yeah.
business.
So it's definitely a lot, but I mean, it comes down to if you enjoy doing it. So if it's something you enjoy doing and it's more of a fun pastime hobby for you, then it's not going to feel like it's a job or it's something
Yeah.
that you have to do. So as long as you're keeping your focus on that, just having fun, making things that you want to create, not like, what's going to make me money, then that's how you're
Yeah.
going to be successful and that's how you're going to keep going.
I 100% agree.
I think it shows a lot on your art as well. If you're just doing something to make money, you're gonna make whatever and just throw it out
Dishing them
there.
out, yeah.
For sure.
But when you really like to do something, you're gonna take your time on doing it.
You know, like for
Yeah.
example, you know, she's got a couple of items here to show
Some
off for you
props.
guys. These
Yeah.
are just a few of the crazy things we've seen her do. I mean, I don't know if you guys have
Look
caught
at
on,
her
but
earrings.
you guys are decked out.
Ooh.
Decked out. My keychain, I don't have it on me, but
Yeah.
decked out with stuff on there. I mean, the crazy thing about her resin theme is there's a lot of opportunity to create. What am I trying to get at? Like
Endless possibilities.
endless possibilities of
you can
things.
create.
It's not just a square and a circle molds. There's
Mhm.
themed out items. There's
Earrings, the Texas.
as long as there's a mold for
Yeah.
it, she can make it.
I
And-
remember one time she made a wine holder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the
well,
wine
yeah,
It
stuff.
would hold like the wine glasses and it had the wine in the middle.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's more just like I've experimented with so many new products, and I mean maybe that's like not a great business move, making a ton of new products and people, you know, second guessing what is it this time. But at the same time, that's what makes it exciting for me, and that's what makes me want to keep going. So
So I have like a small question to go with that.
Mhm.
Do you have like, and I say limit in the fact that like you're adding all these new products. You're
Mhm.
probably receiving a lot more requests and orders. is there a limit for you when it comes to your art business at this point right now? To where maybe people are from out of town are trying to
Sold out
request,
after,
or
I'll get you next week. or
yeah, like you're
something.
booked and you're like,
Yeah.
man, my balance is not working. Is that
Sometimes, yeah, I feel like sometimes I make a lot of something and then I post about it and then it'll sell out like in a weekend and I'm like, oh shoot. Like right now I made a bunch of Valentine's earrings and I'm sold out of the hearts and it's not even Valentine's yet. So I'm like, sometimes stuff like that happens and so, you know, it's obviously not a bad thing. It's
Yeah.
obviously they did well. So again, for me, it's not really about the money. It's about making something that I enjoy, and then if I can make money off of doing something that I enjoy, then that's obviously the
Right.
benefit.
Yeah, I think I was just trying to highlight that that's your main thing, and it's working so well to where you're still enjoying the thing you love. Like it's not getting to a
Right.
point where it's overwhelming you to you're like, this isn't even a hobby anymore.
Right.
It's just a task in my life, while still having some benefits from it. You know, the community growth, the money
Right.
that comes in for it.
It's also funny you say work-life balance because sometimes I'll catch myself at work and I'm thinking about things that I could be creating while I'm at work, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to get
Focus.
back to work. Yeah, it's
crazy.
funny, but yeah, definitely a hard balance. But you find time for it if it's something you love doing.
So work-life balance. We were kind of touching up on that, and how you manage that
Right.
balance. I mean, it's funny because we say work-life balance, but it literally is a balance
It
of.
really is. It's funny too because sometimes I still live with my parents, so it definitely is an impact on them because they see all my items, you know, everywhere around the house. I have my own room where I do create the things, but then once they're done, I bring them inside, and then he sees them on the kitchen table or in the living room, and he's like, "Your stuff is everywhere." And
Who,
so
your dad?
yeah,
Oh.
so it's funny. It's definitely it does impact and it does kind of gather, but you know, it's just part of it. It's, you know, rolling with the punches and, you know, just finding that balance. I mean,
Yeah,
no other
that's
way to put it.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you're even able to balance it in the first place.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
working full time, you were going to school full time, and then you still have your business on the side. It just kind of like goes to show that like you can do anything you want as long as you put your heart to it and it's
Yeah.
something you love.
And there's a lot of people in El Paso who are managing and making that work. And for example, these markets, you mentioned like moms or
Oh,
who are
yeah.
running these, you know, probably by themselves.
Parents,
Like
yeah.
this is my business, and Sundays are my free days maybe.
Mhm.
I was even bringing this up to Lindsey the other day that you can make some good money from this. So you could easily make this like a second source of income for those people who maybe struggle to get work in general.
Oh no, definitely. There are a lot of people I follow where it is their main source of income. Like their business is their career.
Yeah, the bills are paid off of this, right?
They make really good money. They put their everything into this business. You know, it's what supports their family. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm saying I'm thankful that I'm not in that position because I'm sure there are some times where they get very stressed or scared that, you know, their products aren't selling and it's not providing for them. And so, I'm blessed in the fact that I can still do this for fun and on the side and as a hobby and still support other businesses. But yeah, there's definitely people out there who they put their all into their business, and I give them so much respect, and I love supporting those people too.
Which is why we should all be going to more of these markets.
Yeah,
It's not just a
Yeah.
shameless plug, it's fun. You guys have a good
And then-
time.
The thing is too though is like, I don't know because I've never been, but I doubt something's gonna be like super expensive, right?
No, yeah, I mean, everything is reasonably priced. I mean, and then what you're getting is really good product at the end of the day. Like, everything that I've bought from a market, I've used several times. I, like, rep it. I tell other people about it. You know, they sell a bunch of stuff, jewelry, candles, food, drinks, like, anything you can think of. So
That's
there's
cool.
something for everyone at these markets, for sure.
Yeah, and you're talking about like cheap like price or whatever. You're paying for what you get. You're getting a homemade product. You're getting a custom product. It's, you know, if you want to customize, Lindsay customizes
Like a
her stuff.
handcrafted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
handcrafted. Like
I'm saying like you're not
don't
going
see
to no
too
art
much.
like museum gallery. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like
No, yeah.
it's gonna be like
No,
good
I-
reasonable price.
Some of the stuff you see there could be at that level. That's what amazes me sometimes. I'm like, holy crap! Like,
the paintings that she used to do, they said, I was like, dang. I'm
and
pretty sure you could sell this
she
for
still
some crazy
does them.
money.
She
Yeah.
still does them mixed in with her resin. It's not just paintboard.
So now she
resin.
combined the two.
I have before, yeah, in some big trays. So I would paint pour on the tray and then cover them with resin. So that's kind of been a little bit of a combination.
Wait, so speaking of the different things you have, like what's your most favorite thing you've ever made?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Like ever since you created your My.ers.Art
what's-
thing,
What's the
Mhm.
best product you've made?
like what you think, not like what sold the best, like
Right.
you, like this
Yep.
is my favorite thing to make.
Yeah. I feel like I have several different answers for several different reasons. I love making
I like that.
I love making earrings because, well, earrings are one of my favorite pieces of jewelry,
Yeah,
and
she's a-
I wear different earrings every day. I love buying different earrings, so I love making it different earrings, and I love that I can never make the same pair of earrings twice, and there's always like endless possibilities for different earrings you could make. Another one would be probably my big trays, just because that one actually pushed me to go, beyond my limits, so to speak, and, not be afraid to try something bigger or make mistakes. I definitely made a bunch of mistakes making those bigger trays. Yeah, but it's definitely how you learn and you grow and you become a better artist.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question was, what is your biggest achievement with the business, product-wise, or a memory, or an event that might have happened with your business? It could be your most favorite. It doesn't have to be like the biggest success. And then on the contrary, vice versa, did you have any moments where it was like it was like not that you didn't like it, but it was like, oh, that didn't work out, or maybe like a failed item that it was like a
Was not
product.
planned.
You were like, I'm gonna make a bunch of
Maybe you
these.
thought it
and-
was gonna blow up, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you go to both ends of the spectrum. Do you have one, if any, that you could think of?
Yeah, for sure. There were things that I would make where I would be really excited about it. Like, yeah, this, like, people are gonna love this. And then I would get like 1 or 2 orders, and I was like, okay, maybe not. But at the same time, there are also random things that I would get, like the trays. I made it one time, and then all of a sudden, like 20 people were like, hey, how can I order? How can I order? So it's like, you never know. You just,
My mom.
Yeah.
She was like,
you just put it out there, and it is what it is. People like it, people don't. Don't wrap your head around it. I need to sell this. Just wrap your head around, this is something cool that I think I want to try making, and then just do it and see how it goes.
Even these small like the pill trays that you have,
Yeah.
the multi trays, what I'm gonna call them, because you could use them as jewelry
Multi-use, yeah.
or other things. But I just think that was cool that you were able to create something like that where, yeah, like you're saying, it was I'm just gonna try it out, and it ended up being this. It doesn't have to be bestseller. I don't know what exactly to call it, but it was like your favorite thing, most enjoyable thing.
Right, yeah, definitely. I feel like that's also happened to me at markets where I get really excited to have a bunch of products, and then, it's not really a great turnout. Maybe people are spending their money on, other people's products, and it's totally fine. It didn't go as well as I had planned. And then there were some markets where it was really small, like you had said, only 10, 12 vendors, and I'm like, oh, okay, this one might not, be as advantageous, and then I sell a bunch of stuff, so it's crazy. You never know. Yeah.
I've gone with you where I don't even remember how much items you sold, and it didn't even matter because we had such a good time. Family
Yeah.
was showing up, music was great. You were walking around, and other vendors were walking around. It felt like it was a giant hangout
Yeah.
with canopies. I really don't know how to explain it. It was just super fun.
It's a giant family barbecue.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Like a
exactly.
giant family barbecue. It was so sick, and the next thing you know, it's just like, well, it's time to wrap up, and I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
Are they?
yeah,
Well,
Bad
right,
Bunny's on right now, man.
It was the vibe in the 915.
It
definitely
is. It
was.
becomes a vibe, and then it's even more fun when you start recognizing the other small businesses. So you start making friends, other small businesses, and then you guys start trading your products, or I buy
Collabing?
something from you. Yeah, I did a
Ooh, that's
collab.
cool.
I
That's
did a
cool.
collab with a girl who makes the croc charms, and so
Oh, that's
I
cool.
made the charms, and she glued the croc charm on it, and so we
Selling
just made
that.
a thing. Yeah, they're at her
So
shop.
how does that work? Do you get like 50% or?
Yeah, I mean, basically, she's super generous. She's super sweet. I mean, every small business owner that's local that I've met are like not in it for themselves. They're
It's
in it
not
for
like
the
that
community.
stingy where like we
Yeah.
gotta go half and half.
Yeah, they're not
Sign
stingy
here.
at all. They're like in it for the community. They're in it for supporting local, and so it's just all love. It's awesome.
So when COVID hit, the thing I saw the most, and it's on your banner that you have for when you have your market up, is the shop local, eat local, support local. That blew up like crazy when COVID hit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think COVID is honestly still impacting some small businesses now.
Oh,
So-
for sure.
I always try to, promote that on my business, not just to support my small business, it's to support any small business that you can, that you're near, that you see, that you know, and just spread the word about it, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can go get Whataburger every now and then, but when are you gonna go
Who's
get
really
those,
getting
like,
affected?
yeah, it's like I said, someone's family, someone's livelihood, so, and at the same time, sometimes the local places are better than the chain places, so.
Yes, 100%, which is why I really wanted to highlight this field that I feel like a lot of people don't know about with the markets and the support local is I wasn't really accustomed to this shop local mentality or field of people, the community. And when COVID hit, Lindsay's like, well, let's go try some local places to eat, some food trucks. We went to like Sun City Slice to go get our pizza in general. And it was so good to the point where like now we're trying those places more often than not. We're open to trying these new places even now. And like I said, COVID is still hitting and affecting a little bit, but I'm not wanting to go straight to these corporate places. I want to go try these other places first because odds are you're gonna find something that you really want. You go to a bigger store, and again, I'm not trying to like Walmart's always gonna be there. You're gonna always find something at those places, but when you want that customized, you want that personal, especially around Valentine's, Christmas, birthdays, weddings, and you can get something like this, or you can go to the market and find something very customizable and personal. 10 times better. That's just in my opinion, though.
That's for
And
sure.
on top of it, you're supporting local.
Yeah.
Local, bro.
Actually,
yes.
for Christmas, I even made the custom ornaments. So I put people's
Custom
pictures.
ornaments.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I put
With
people's
people's
pictures in
pictures.
an
I just
ornament.
didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's
Like it
crazy.
doesn't get any more special than
You
that.
literally are
for me.
making
What?
memories.
That's like a I was gonna say that's a memory right there.
Yeah.
Mine used to have like the little macaroni on them. Like, at school. My mom would put it on there.
Oh, mijo.
Yeah.
The ones that you'd paint.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
picture that they made you stand there for. Like your
That's
shirt
what-
all untucked.
That's what makes it special, though. It's
I think
handmade.
that thing is
Look.
durable though.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there, bro.
It's still there.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, you're making memories. You're making that support local. I think is just one of the biggest things because, like, there's a new restaurant coming into El Paso that's coming from Las Cruces called Mateos, and they started as a food truck in Las Cruces. Now they have a restaurant in Las Cruces and they're opening one. I think on the west side. I could be wrong. On the west side of El Paso, plus their food truck. So.
Well, sorry. Go for it.
No, I was just saying, like, you support local. Things like that could happen for the people who are willing to take their business that far.
Well, look who's one of the big, like, successful ones, Steve-O's. He started off as a food truck, too.
Exactly.
Oh,
He
Steve.
started off as a food truck, opened up Steve-O's.
Yep.
From Steve-O's, opened up Sancho's. Crazy.
Yeah.
And that's if you want it to go like that. There's nothing wrong with keeping it small and compact and manageable. But I mean, the opportunities are there, and it all comes down to supporting local. And I think El Paso's done a really good job of doing that, or at least that trend kind of went around. And at least in my eyes, it kind of opened my eyes. I don't think I was aware of the possibilities that came with it,
Oh, no,
especially
yeah,
when you
definitely.
started your business as My.ers.Art.
Yeah, that's probably been my favorite part of even starting my business. It hasn't been about making money for me. I mean, yeah, that part is cool, but it's really been about meeting people, just sharing different things in the community, putting your money back into the community and the city. I think that's super important, and it opened my eyes a lot to just how much talent we have in the city, how much love there is in the city, how much kindness and joy and family and community we have. So it's super awesome to be a part of and just witness.
Shout out to El Paso.
Shout out to El Paso.
Yes, definitely. If you guys have questions, just come here.
I have one,
Yeah,
actually.
okay, because I'll keep going.
So, kind of want to like look into the future,
Mhm.
like maybe like 5 years. How do you see your business, or
5
where do you see
years.
yourself?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Yeah.
With My.ers.Art.
I feel like I'm in an interview. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
exactly what you meant.
I guess this would be in a bit.
I would say just still creating art, the type of art that I feel I want to create, not that I feel like someone is expecting me to. Whatever it is, whatever that kind of art is. If it's resin still, if it's paint, if it's whatever else I find joy in doing, I want to make sure that my focus is on creating things that I like and enjoy and that, make me a better person or, escape, as we said before. I think that's my biggest goal. I would still love to sell my art. I want to start an Etsy. I want to start trying to see how else I can, improve my business or grow it in any way that I can, while I can. So yeah, I think just continuing to support other people and impact other people and inspire other people to do the same.
So, I think it's a pretty big question. So, like, let's say in 5 years, do you see yourself still doing the work and your hobby balance? Or is it like, what are you going to focus more on? Or at this point, you're just going to see how things go?
I think at this point it's always been more of balancing like two sides of my life. I think right now I'm still figuring out what kind of career I see myself doing based on what my major was. So I am still trying to, maneuver in that sense. But I feel like my art business is very far from being over. So
Yeah, we don't want to also shine down the fact that you're a mechanical engineer with a
Yeah, I was
degree.
gonna say that's-
You have a degree
Yeah.
and you're working in the
Yeah.
field. Like that's, I'm telling you, we could literally talk about a whole other episode just on that alone and that dynamic of you personally.
right.
So you have this big success on the right now on the back burner of what we're talking about, and then you have a whole business
Right.
on the side, and it's a fun business. It's enjoyable for you. It's just
I don't want it to sound like a plan A and plan B,
Yeah.
because I think like your passion for like both of them is like equal.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want it to sound like that, but it's like, man, if you really wanted to, you really could just do both.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they even intertwine. My work had a Christmas market, and I signed up for my
that's
work's
cool.
Christmas
There you
market.
go.
So I was selling my products there at work, and then people at work were like, "Oh my gosh, you made this!" And I'm like, "Yeah, let me explain." And so
That's crazy.
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? You stick to what you're passionate
Yeah,
about, and you
exactly.
never know where it's gonna go. It could literally intertwine with your main life, like for example, or you can keep it separate and be successful in two different things as long
Yeah,
as you're
definitely.
balancing, obviously. But damn, that's cool. What
That's
the heck?
crazy.
That's crazy. That is cool.
yeah,
She's like, which side do you want to see? Mechanical engineer or artist?
both.
She puts the hat on, the Bob Ross.
Yeah, she has like gear earrings or like.
She turns around and is like,
Most millionaires actually have multiple sources of income.
That is true.
Yeah.
The average millionaire has 5 sources of income.
Yep.
You have 2, so
Yeah.
you're already that much farther.
But I'm not a millionaire. No.
on your
Yes.
way.
On our way.
That's crazy. You mentioned Etsy. So my main question is gonna be like what's your biggest challenge at the moment? I know we jumped 5 years ahead,
Mm-hmm.
and it's for the most part you're gonna see how it goes, and you're not in any rush.
Mm-hmm.
What's your biggest challenge right now with your business?
I think my biggest
Yeah.
challenge is probably not offering shipping, because I feel like there are people out of town that are on my Instagram page and they're like, "Oh, let me know when you ship," or "Do you ship?" And I'm like, "Unfortunately, I don't." And so, breaking that news is always like hard for me, and I start feeling guilty, like, okay, maybe I should start. And I feel like when I was in college, I was like, no, I'm not gonna have time to be shipping out orders, making everything, and go to school. And so then now that I've graduated, but I started a full-time job, so now I'm like, okay, maybe I can, maybe I can't. So it's kind of been a learning experience. I also am not super educated about the whole shipping process and the
I was gonna
pricing
say
and
like,
stuff.
what's stopping you from shipping?
Yeah, I think it's mostly been about time management, and also the fact that I'm just uneducated on like the whole
Like how
process.
does it work and
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's obviously something that can be done. I just got to do research about it, ask other people. There are a bunch of small businesses that I could ask for help with, but it's just something that I've kind of had anxiety about and haven't really like gotten into doing. So definitely something that I want to try doing in the future.
Dang, that's cool. So
Have you thought about maybe collabing with someone to help you ship out things instead
That's a good
of
one.
doing it yourself? You know?
A
Yeah.
local business shipper?
That's not what I meant.
local distributor.
Maybe another artist that could help you also. That already has.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I think she'll answer. But she's done collabs within the city where she's able to drop off her items at a store, someone who's already available, not through shipping like that. So do you kind of want
What
to?
store?
Yeah, so I used to have my items in a local beauty shop. It was called Bomb Beauty.
Beauty.
It recently closed down, but now I have some earrings and other things inside of the Croc Charm shop, which is, her name's Val's Jibs. That's the name of her shop.
Shout out to Val.
Shout out to Val.
Yeah, so now she's holding my items. So that definitely is a big help. And there are other small businesses that I see, they have their own store, and then they still house items from other small businesses. One of them is In Bloom. She makes her own soaps and bath bombs and stuff, but she has her own little shelves for different businesses that leave their
That's
items
really
there.
cool.
And so yeah, it's all
It's just
like,
the whole community.
yeah, exactly. It's just reiterating the point of I'm here to make money, but I'm also here to support the rest of my community, and so it's really cool.
That's crazy. That's cool. See, so like we joked around about like a local distributor, but there literally is someone who's willing to bring your
Bring
stuff in
position.
Yeah.
let me help promote it. And that's social media is your main tool where you
Yeah.
promote. I always see you posting about all these other businesses.
Oh yeah.
My eyes are on that at all times, and I'm just one person. Can you imagine how many people are seeing those ads, those
1,500?
marketeds? Yeah, and you guys are doing collab giveaways. You guys are shouting each other out. You collabed with I can't remember the business name, with Flora where you did the roses, wine bottle, wine rack. Yes.
Oh, I saw that.
That was a big one too. Like
That was cool.
that's two big. Like that was a really good gift. Like
yeah, I even put some of my some of the stickers that are in my trays. They're from small businesses. So the sticker that's in the tray right there is from another small business. So it's like
you're supporting while also creating stuff.
yeah, exactly.
It's just it amazes me. And what's cool about your stuff is I'm starting to see. I mean, of course in our inner circle, but I'm starting to see people who are wearing your earrings.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when we go hang out, I'm like. My.ers.Art, she's like, yeah, I bought them like a week ago, and I'm like,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
That's cool.
It's cool.
I think
And
it's cool when you can see like
Your
people
stuff,
wearing them.
huh?
Yeah,
That's probably the best
I
thing
mean,
ever. The best
Yeah.
I bet
feeling.
that feels good. Like
yeah,
made
there's
that
even memes where it's like, "Are you doing okay?" So it's like, yeah, but some people are buying my art online. Like, it's crazy to think that people buy your art and they're interested in it. So
Cool. So you were talking about how your stuff is like you could see it on like other people's like I see like at the bowling alley.
yeah,
Where
it's
you're a
crazy.
hangout.
I'll be at markets and they're like, "Oh, I have earrings. I have those exact earrings," and I'm like, "Oh, hey, that's
Yeah,
crazy."
yeah.
I
Or
made those, by the way.
and you're like, oh, yeah, I see you like those earrings, and I see them wearing them. I'm like, I've seen those somewhere, you know. Even I worked at NMSU
Mhm.
in Las Cruces, and I even had someone come up to me like, your girlfriend's she's so pretty and her stuff is so cool, and I'm like, I've never told you about my girlfriend. And they're like, oh, because I saw her on TikTok or I saw her Instagram reel, and I looked at her
That's cool.
page, and how do I order? This is around like your tray, like big time. They're like, how do I order a tray, and I want to get some earrings, and I was like, yeah, like we're in a whole different city. Now, granted, Las Cruces is 45 minutes away, not that far, but we're in a whole different city, and your reach with social media, with your promoting, with your art, is reaching outside of El Paso. You're literally bringing your
Outsiders inside.
Yes, you're literally. People are like, oh yeah, follow her on Instagram, follow her on TikTok, and I'm like, that just blows my mind how easy it could be potentially, but at the same time, like you still have to have a good product, a good foundation of stuff, and
Yeah.
you're doing it. I mean, you're only at the beginning. I think seriously, like
Yeah.
1,500 followers on Instagram, 4,000 followers on TikTok. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I do get tripped out sometimes. I'm kind of just like, oh, that's a lot of people. When you think there's even a sound where it says, yeah, maybe 30 people liking your post isn't that much. But if 30 people literally came up to you at one time and said, hey, I want to buy this right now, you would be overwhelmed.
Like,
You know,
oh,
so
yeah.
And on top of
Yeah.
that, like
Yeah.
for our podcast, there's 5 of us
yeah.
trying to run this. You're running this on your own, right? Like there's.
Basically, yeah. I mean, of course, you help me. I have the help from my mom or different people, who support me. And, of course, friends and family, they say, hey, I want to buy this. I saw this on your page. Even my mom will take my earrings to her work. She's an elementary school principal. And so her teachers will buy some of my earrings. So it's like, obviously, the support from friends and family is always super appreciated and important.
Especially jewelry like this, it's low key slept on. Everyone wants to have the nice, Pandora bag or the name brand
Oh, yeah.
jewelry, but
This stuff is like unmatched though. Like it's so unique and original,
Yeah.
and you're
I
not
think
gonna
it's
find it
better,
anywhere
it's
else.
better.
Yeah.
Yep,
that's
that's true.
that's crazy. So we're getting close to wrapping up here, and for those that are hopefully getting motivated by what you have to tell them about a woman starting her own business, coming out of COVID successful, still continuing to be successful while continuing to work balance. Holy
It
crap.
still has plans.
And still has plans and still enjoying what she does, isn't tired of it, which again, if you have your breaks, you have your moments, but
Oh yeah.
still not tired of it. What are some tips for people who are trying to not only start a business, but especially through social media, like their inspiration, motivation? Do you have any tips?
I would say you're never gonna feel completely ready. So if you did something, made something, are proud of something, share it. It doesn't matter what it is, how small it is, how good or bad you think it is, how uneducated you are in the topic. I started using resin and I would make so many mistakes. My resin would burn on me. I would waste product, but that's not what matters. What matters is that you're learning and you're making something that you like and that you think is great and you're proud of yourself for, and you want to share it with the world, and that's the most important thing. So don't let anyone stop you.
It's like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. And it's supposed to be for fun at the end of the day. It's not supposed to be something stressful. It's not supposed to be something that, you're disappointing someone. Like, it's just supposed to be something that is fun and you can do in your spare time, and you can make a little money off of it on the side, and, put more money into the community. That's what it is that's what it has been for me, at least. So.
And you're making your impact. I mean, like I said, people are wearing your stuff. We go people and they recognize you. And I think an impact doesn't have to be I'm building all these buildings within the city. Your impact could be socially through word of mouth. And like you guys heard of My.ers.Art, you know, it's just that simple. And that positive impact that you have. Oh, she always supports my business.
Right.
You know, she's always at these markets, whether she knows it's gonna be big or not.
Yeah.
That's huge, and I know El Paso has that like right behind them, and maybe we just need a little more eyes to it.
It brings the community together too.
It brings
Yeah,
everybody together,
definitely.
100%. So I definitely think if you go try out the market, you'll definitely see some of that aspect of that dynamic that Lindsay's talking about.
Yeah,
today.
definitely. It's a great time. It's a great time for family, with your siblings, with your friends, with your significant other. Take your, you know, little brother, you know, whatever. There's something there for everyone, like I said.
Brother, we just found that apparently.
Recently discovered.
Recently discovered. Check out the last episode.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean,
It's a good time. So.
that is cool. I honestly like I'm impressed because everyone wants to run a business eventually. I would assume you've always had that idea, and I've always been scared of starting,
Taking that jump.
taking that jump.
definitely.
The podcast is the biggest example of of it, and here we are. I mean, granted, we're 3 episodes in, 4th episode in, and wherever it goes, it goes. I still enjoy doing this. We could be talking about the most random things, and we'll post it out there, and it is what it is. But we have fun doing it. And you never know. A post could go get some good viewers, and get some people, and get some cool ideas. So, for people that are starting, just do it. Just try it out. The tools are
Take
there.
that jump.
Yeah, try it. Doesn't matter your tools, your experience, how much money you have, how much money you're getting back from it. What matters is that it's making you happy. It's giving you something that you love to do. That's what's important. So
Cool.
Perfect answer. No good answer gets better than that.
Yeah, you
huh?
really can't. And you take it from her mouth to your ear because it really should be motivating you. I have a question for you, and I kind of want to see what the viewers think of this question, but I thought we'd kind of keep this as the last question we ask all our interviewees from now on. My question is, and it sounds kind of funny, but what does the phrase "the vibe" mean in your eyes, especially when you hear the vibe from 915?
I mean, I would say just reiterating everything about the markets that I've learned, because I feel like before I started doing them, I didn't realize how supportive and, loving of a community that we have. I mean, I knew that our community was like that, just being part of it, but going to these markets just made me realize how much people really have compassion for each other and want to help each other out, want to build each other up, want to support each other, want to shout out each other's business for no reason, just because they purely want to see you succeed. And I think that's something that you won't go to another city, even 45 minutes on the road, you don't see that.
That's true.
And so it's something that is super, I think we take it for granted and we don't realize it. And I feel like now that I have, embedded myself into that community of, vendors and being part of the market has really opened my eyes to that. And I really appreciate it now, which is why I do the same for others. So
It's the vibe.
And that's her vibe.
it is
That's the
a
vibe.
vibe. It is a vibe.
Yeah, it is
It's
a
very
vibe.
different from different cities.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. If you've lived in another city, I'm sure you can attest.
And the word and the phrase "the vibe" is the reason why I'm asking is it varies from person to person, and it's not necessarily always successful in good vibes. It could be chill, it could be relaxed, it could be friendly, competitive. It could range from things. So I think it'd be interesting to continue to ask that question to people and see what their point of view is, and kind of how it relates to their business or themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else from you
I
guys?
think I got all my questions out,
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm excited. I kind of want to see you got any projects coming up? Any new items
Oh,
or
yeah.
anything you've got going on right now?
Yeah, I feel like
Give us a little
I
sneak
always
peek.
experiment with new items here and there. I'm probably gonna be posting a giveaway soon, just because I'm close to 1,500 followers.
Giveaway alert.
So yeah, I'll probably do a giveaway. I might try and invite other local businesses. They always do that. They always collab with other
Collab with
local
the vibe.
businesses. So yeah, I can collab with you guys. We can do a
We've
giveaway.
got the podcast right behind you.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be something coming up. But always looking out for new markets. Always looking out for different ways to show my stuff in my community. So.
You can find her at markets. You can find her on her Instagram. You can find her on the TikTok. Try them out, guys. Try your local markets. Try your local vendors.
I have a question for you guys.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
The tables have turned.
I'm nervous.
Oh.
Yeah.
The turned up
I'm just
tables.
kidding.
Yeah, that's the table.
Where do you you all see your podcast going in 5 years?
In 5 years,
Okay, we'll each answer that.
okay,
Okay.
I'll go first.
Okay, Andy, you go first.
I'll go first. 5 years for the podcast. I hope it's the same dynamic where people will be able to recognize our impact in El Paso and realize like, hey, you guys are starting to help highlight aspects of El Paso that maybe don't have enough attention or should have a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I hope, I don't know, I think that's like the biggest one is making our impact and making our footprint within the city. And in 5 years, who knows, we maybe not won't be doing the vibe from 915, we'll be doing the vibe from different cities, traveling and figuring out and highlighting other local cities, you know.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds cool.
What about you?
No, just kind of go if you want.
Okay, I'll go. In 5 years, I kind of wanted to re-elaborate with what Andy said mostly is that I just hope that it's more of like a hobby for us,
Mhm.
you know.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it is for me. It's just cool to get behind the camera and just, you know, talk to
Talk.
Yeah.
our city.
It's super
Mostly it's
fun.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I hope that in that future we can just keep like the same vibe, I guess.
Meeting
Yeah,
some new
definitely.
people.
And I mean, if we do expand, I mean, even better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
I'm just excited to see where it goes, honestly.
For sure.
I hope in 5 years we have our own TV show, and then I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly,
Welcome to the vibe.
welcome to the vibe.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron
No,
Jones,
well,
Khalid.
So like, me personally, in 5 years, I would hope that not only does it get us closer to like our city, but it makes us closer too as friends,
Oh,
and
definitely.
we could like
That's true.
share or like relate to the city
Mhm.
about how close we are, and they could like relate back to us, you know.
Definitely.
Kind of just get everyone closer, like in the
We're products of
915.
the city, you know.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying in the 915, and like Andy said, if we can grow, then that'd be even better. Like if we can do the vibe from San Antonio, the vibe from Cali, who knows, you know?
It'd be really cool, like in that future too, if we had like a really strong connection with the city too, to where like we're putting our city out to other places.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're setting the
Yeah,
events.
like, we're
Yeah.
setting the.
Yeah,
Put our
like,
city on the map, you know. It's
Exactly.
like not a lot of
That would be
other
really
big
cool.
cities know about El Paso. Maybe you know we're one of the smaller cities in Texas, even though Texas is a big state.
That's true.
So just shedding more of a light on El Paso is super cool.
100% agree. And the people we're going to meet along the way is the most exciting
that's what
part.
I'm excited for too. Is like imagine how many people we.
I mean, look how much we
Opportunities.
just learned right now. And like, we see Lindsay every other day. And that's just like,
Honestly, I see Lindsay almost every day, and I learn more about her little business than I have the past.
more information you get. I got motivated right now and excited to like want to start another project because she's like, she's making it work, obviously, right? And the people that we'll be able to bring in, hopefully in the 5 years, back to your question, will help us grow from that aspect. I want to learn. That's the point of this podcast: meet new people and help other people grow. So I think it's gonna happen. I definitely think as long as we still have some support on your end,
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
and we just keep posting, like we said, or like you said,
Mhm.
as long as you just go out there and do it,
Yeah.
Just jump.
just
Yeah.
jump,
Take the leap of faith.
take the leap of faith. And with that,
I think we're pretty much done
I
here.
think we're done.
Wrap it up.
Thank you,
well, thanks
Lindsay.
for having me.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lindsay. Thank you,
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
First interview. Let's
Our
go.
first interview, yes, our first interview. I'll
To
be
many
buying
more.
to many more.
Mhm.
Shop local, buy some My.ers.Art.
Yeah.
We'll catch you
Like
guys
and
later.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Peace.